And there's Jay Powell with the hard hat, the two of them. So I wonder if we have audio. That's the first question. Senator Tim Scott to the president's right, screen left as they walk towards us. And whether we'll hear any of the back and forth in the conversation between these two, of course, have been feuding. So I'm going to be quiet for a second and just see if we can hear anything from Powell and Trump as they approach.
Well, thank you very much. We're looking at the construction, and we're with the chairman, as you know. Chairman, come on over. And we're just taking a look at what's happening. You know, it's a tough construction job. They're building basements where they didn't exist or expanding them, and a lot of very expensive work. There's no question about it. And Tim has been with me for a long time, and you're in charge of the committee.
Indeed. One of the reasons why I wanted to see it was the overruns of the expenses, wanted to figure out why.
Yeah. So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about $3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1,
3.2.
This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added
our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no, but it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's not new.
So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them, but we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use, but no, we don't. We expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you can see.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not under too much danger. So, any questions?
Mr. President, does the issue give you any?
As a real estate developer, what would you do with a project manager who would be over budget?
Generally speaking, what would I do? I'd fire him.
Do you think this issue, Mr. President, gives you cause to do that?
Well, I'm here just really with the chairman. He's showing us around, showing us the work. And so I don't want to get that. I don't want to be personal. I just would like to see it get finished. And in many ways, it's too bad it started. But it did start. And it's been under construction for a long time. It's going to be a real long time because it looks like it's got a long way to go.
Yes, sir.
So.
President, are there things the chairman can say to you today that would make you back off some of the earlier criticism?
Well, I'd love him to lower interest rates. Other than that, what can I tell you? The country is doing really well. I just briefed the chairman on the deal we made with Japan. Japan is putting up $550 billion in order to lower their tariffs a little bit. That way they have a little bit lower tariff. And they also opened their country to free trade, which nobody thought was even a possibility. And we get a zero tariff in the free trade. We don't pay tariffs, and they're going to pay 15% on everything they send into our country. So it's great. But they put up, as you could call it, seed money. Let's call it seed money. You could call it anything you want, but it's a total of $550 billion. So nobody thought any of that was possible, and it's wonderful. And we're doing pretty well with the European Union, likewise. And we have some others. They're all really big, and our country's going to make a lot of money. We would be helped if interest rates would come down, but we're going to see how the board rules on that soon. I'd love to see them come down a lot. But we have a country that's thriving. We had a dead country 1 year ago. Today we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And we'll get this one finished.
Mr. President, you
Thank you.
that Jerome Powell's announced goal.
Well, that was something, wasn't it? There they go. Should put the hard hat back on going up the stairs. So you never know, right? Here's what I'm thinking as I was watching that is that if there are, and I know there are viewers watching who love the president, they say, that is classic Donald Trump, classic president of the United States and the way he handled that. And then there are people watching, of course, that don't like the president, and they're probably saying, all right, good for Chairman Jerome Powell for going at him on that. I mean, the context, for those of you who don't know, comes from that announcement the president made before he went over to check out the construction at the Federal Reserve Building. He says, well, this cost $3.1 billion. So he said it live when Powell was walking with him. And Powell looks at him and said, what do you mean $3.1 billion? It's not, where'd you get that from? Is that from us? And he shows him the piece of paper. Powell puts his glasses on, starts reading the paper, and they says, no, it's 2.7. No, it's 3.1. Well, no, that's from a building we built 5 years ago. So Powell looks on, and then at the end, you got a little dig on interest rates. I mean, something for everyone in that, including our panel of Rob Bluey, who's the executive director at the Daily Signal. He joins us along with Democratic strategist Nicole Brener-Schmitz. Okay, am I right, Rob? I mean, is that a good say? If you love Trump, you say, classic Trump. And I bet you, Nicole, come on and say, all right, good job, Jay Powell. You first, Rob.
Sure. Well, Connell, it makes for great television, doesn't it?
I guess.
Right. I mean, it's I think the authenticity that the American people certainly appreciate when it comes to Donald Trump, whether you agree with his politics or not. In this particular case, though, I mean, I have to say I'm glad that he is holding the Fed accountable, not only for the cost overruns on the building, but for the fact that the Fed is responsible for not only the financial situation that Americans are dealing with, the affordability crisis, the fact that so many Americans, young Americans, can't afford a home and are still grappling with the high costs of gas, groceries, and rent, and the inflation that the Fed caused during 4 years of Joe Biden. If they stopped printing so much money, we might not be in the predicament that we're in today, Connell. And so I'm hopeful that Donald Trump will find a new chairman when Powell's time is up and put in somebody there who is going to get things under control.
Right. That would be his right. I mean, he appointed Powell, and he could appoint someone else when the time's up. He doesn't believe, he's hinted he won't fire him. But that was quite a scene. Rob's point, I guess, it was good TV. I was thinking, what is going on here? But Nicole, your thoughts on what we just watched?
Yeah, I mean, I do think it was classic Trump. He just threw out the numbers that he wanted to say, and Powell pointed out that it was a building that was already built. And I feel like this exchange was pretty much what we see of Donald Trump, who doesn't pay attention to the facts and figures, but goes with the story he wants. But I think what's really happening here is, people, I saw the congressman who was on at the top of the hour, and he said there's so many stories out there, right? Like, this isn't a distraction. This is Donald Trump saying that, he's paying attention to tax dollar money. But I would say, yeah, there are so many stories out there. This is something where he's trying to have a distraction from Epstein, because this fits into the transparency. What they're trying to say is, look, we are transparent. We'll call out our own guys. We're checking it out, because they really want to do anything but talk about this Epstein problem. So they're throwing spaghetti at the wall, trying to get the American public to pay attention to literally anything else.
Is there anything to that, Rob? I guess the question I would say, well, what is the point of today if you're not going to fire the guy, right? And you just want to point this out, and there is some theater involved. So how would you respond to what Nicole just said, Rob?
Well, you saw the president quite pointedly say that he wants Powell to lower interest rates.
Right, he says that all the time.
He does. I mean, so I think that keeping that front and center and making sure that this is the issue. Remember, aside from immigration, probably the cost of living and inflation was the number one issue that caused Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's administration to face the catastrophic defeat that they did in last year's election. So if there is one issue that Donald Trump cares about more than anything else, it's that the American people understand that his administration is doing whatever it can to bring down the cost of living for the American people. That's, after all, what he knows Republicans will be judged on in the midterm election. And if he's going to have a Republican successor in the White House, that's probably what that person will be judged on as well.
Here's the thing. I thought this was all we'd see from the president, the chairman. It might be all we see from the chairman, but apparently the president's going to speak, and he will make remarks. It wasn't clear at the Federal Reserve. So let me do this. Rob and Nicole, thank you. Let me wrap this for a moment. If we have the shot, we'll show it. If not, we'll show it when we come back, and you'll probably see it in the break. All right, here it is. So they've set up a lectern for the president with the presidential seal on it for the president to speak, and they're kind of testing the shot there and getting the mics ready. So here's what we'll do. We'll take a quick commercial break. While the break is on, you'll see this. President walks out, you'll see him, and then we'll go back. You never know after what we just saw what's going to happen. We'll have it live as it happens on News Nation Now.